projected future in the sense of what's going to be done to finalize the project.
Have you drove the Fowler Road?
And
You would be better off to grind it and keep it graded than the condition that it's in right now.
yeah, I do understand that, but there again, obviously we've had issues with the grader in the sense of tires and brakes, and now we can't get calcium. There's a lot of different factors there that should be taken into consideration before we actually open a road up and prepare to actually have the road put back together. You tear something apart, you want to be able to put it back together as quickly as possible and not drag that scenario out any longer than you have to. So in order to do that, we got to think about appropriating funds to make that happen before we go ahead and grind the road. I would think, but that's my own thought. I just wondered as if there was any appropriated plan on how we were going to put the road back together after it was to be tore up.
This was part of the 5-year plan before to have that was the last road to be ground at this time. But there was nothing, I have no idea what was the plan for pavement. I never heard any pavement.
But I don't understand one thing. The bottom half of the Lane Road, the other end, was paved up until probably where there is no houses. So I don't understand how come that got done the same year that our road got to be a dirt road.
I don't know, it was
I know
part
you
of
weren't,
that.
you weren't commissioner then. I know that. Why?
The problem
It was-
is there's an ongoing situation. This has got a life of its own. So in order to make progress, you have to start somewhere and you have to keep going. And it will be up to the town, when they gather, to appropriate the funds to purchase surfacing for these roads. Just like the town got together and they voted to purchase a grader to maintain dirt roads. That's why we bought it, to make steps to improve. I understand everyone's frustration with dust and all those things. However, you can't get from point A to D without going through B and C. So if you don't do what the people have voted for, it's not the board, it's not the road commissioner. We're all subject to change. But somewhere, there's a recorded meeting where X number of people came. It was important to enough people to attend a meeting to vote in favor to do the last mile of that Langley Road. That is what the public chose, just like the public chose to purchase the grader. Now, we've learned some things. We've learned that the dust isn't very comfortable, it upsets people, that's to be expected, and it is unfortunate. However, we have an obligation to the people who attended and voted for the plan that we need to finish.
All I'm asking for is to have a plan put together.
And that is what we will work on.
What it's going to cost us
It's
to physically be
$120,000
able to maintain it, as well as be able to put money aside to be able to resurface.
The people on the Fowler Road questioned our plan and they participated in this vote. They have, the money is set aside, we borrowed it. And it's supposed to be earmarked for the Fowler Road. It's not something we can change or undo. So we are obligated to fulfill the commitment. We work for the people that vote.
Is it the additional funds that are available from the $850,000?
Yes.
It is. Okay, thank you.
Clifford.
Tommy, Cliff Miller, 71 Brown Road. To stick up Paul, as far as the Fowler Road is concerned, I've had a lot of experience with grinding roads. If they grind that road, I have found through personal experience, being a road commissioner, that a properly ground road, graded and rolled, believe it or not, the roads will last better than a paved road for a couple of years. So if there's any worries about whether they should or shouldn't grind the road, don't worry about it, because if they grind the road, people down there are going to think they got a drag strip. It's going to make a very good solid road. Plus, by grinding it, you're actually restructuring the subsurface of the road. So that once that's ground, rolled, graded road, your pothole scenario basically goes away. And once it's rolled, wet and rolled, it'll last like pavement as long as it's well taken care of. A little bit of grading in the spring, you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Mr.
Who's
Chairman?
gonna grind the road and how much is it gonna cost? Can you tell us that?
Northeast paving, and it's 13,000 a mile, a road mile,
And how many miles is the road?
2 miles,
They're doing the whole road?
the whole road.
So they're grinding all the chip seal off.
Yeah. What's left?
So will that hurt the culverts going across the road? Will that run into that stuff?
No, because that only gets down about 6 inches. About 6 to 8 inches it goes down. And they don't pull it up, they just it all regrinds, goes right back down. It's like a big rototiller. It
So they
doesn't
roll it
touch
back.
the culverts, and it actually smooths the road out quite nice. And when they roll it, and preferably the wetter that material gets, the better it rolls and compacts.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Matt Cole.
I was in the town office today to get the Freedom of Information Act information about the town employees' email accounts. When I was in there, I talked to Vicki, very pleasant, thank you. Bridget, happy birthday. And when I was in there, I asked about yours as well, Tom. And I know back in like June or July, they discussed you getting your email situation fixed. So I asked Vicki, if I request your email information, all your email traffic, because everybody now in town is asking for everybody's emails, what would we get if we receive yours and there won't be any? Because there's nothing in your email
Oh,
traffic.
absolutely, you just need to ask me for mine, I will make them available.
Well, that's, the point is, have you set yourself up yet with the town's
I've had
email?
technical difficulties setting that up on my phone, that is true, and I'll have to take the time to get that set up, and I
Well,
will probably do it.
This was discussed in June,
Yes.
and now it's 3 or 4 months later. It shouldn't take that long, especially when we want your email. We want to know what you've been sending people and stuff.
I am more than happy to share my emails with the town, there's nothing to be hid, I have a Yahoo account.
Yeah, well, that's not, everything on board should be sent through. If somebody comes in and requests Paul's email, or anybody else who works in the town, you're going to get it from the email address or the email server that the town has set up. Except for you, Tom. Why are you exclusive and how come you haven't set that up? That's all.
Well, it's not because I'm special.
No,
However,
it
I will answer the question.
It seems a little sneaky
Oh.
that we can ask everybody else's, but we can't obtain yours because there's nothing in there.
So you're accusing me of being sneaky?
No, I'm just saying it sounds.
Well, that's what you just said.
I didn't say I'm not accusing, I'm saying it sounds a little sneaky.
Ah.
That everybody else's email address.
Well, let me tell you
is
something
wide
that's
open
sneaky.
Except for yours.
No, that's not an accurate statement. That is the information you have to
Okay.
share. But the truth is, yes, I have been asked, and I will comply. I will have to get with Reboot to have that set up on my phone. In the meantime, I have an email account that is set aside solely for doing business with the town of Woodland. I have been emailed to that account by Miss Willette from her personal email. Okay? So she uses her personal email and the town's email. She sends me email from her personal account in iCloud, and she also sends them to Bridget. So if you want to talk about sneaky,
Can
be
I say
careful.
that?
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to make sure, right here.
But maybe that's the only way they can email you.
Well, I don't know,
Email,
really.
because they can't reach you through.
I'm just answering your question. Is your question a continuing question, a revolving question? Is it more than one question?
My question is, when is your email for the town's email server going to be set up? We've waited, they mentioned it back in June, it's been 4 months or 5 months here. I mean, how long does it take? For
It
people
shouldn't
to
take
get in and
very
set
long.
you-
I've asked certain people to help me who also have not been able to help me. That's something that I'm
That's all we're wondering, just so everybody's.
There's many things that come down the line, for example, that are incredible distractions, and I know it sounds like an incredible length of time, but the other day, for example, my employee showed up from school, and he mentioned that you had segregated him out in his classroom amongst his peers and asked him millions of personal questions about our farm, the town politics, and his living arrangements. And we talked to we talked to Mr. Crowley about that. So that day it was distracted. So I'm just saying, there's many things that come up that do distract me.
Hey, I've been instructed there, and I'm allowed to talk to anybody about anything I want.
Well, I'm sure he'll talk to you about that. He plans to.
I hope so.
May I have that back? And if you'd like a copy of that, I
No,
can present.
I'm good.
So how soon are we gonna have an email? That's what I'm wondering,
I'll
that's my
start
question.
that process in the morning with Brian. at
So you haven't started it in June, when it was requested to be started? You're just starting?
Again, is this where I am, public comment, or question and answer?
No, I'm just asking, Tom.
Yeah, well, what was the question again?
When are we gonna have your email set up so we can have your email traffic?
Why hasn't it done?
And yeah, why hasn't it
I'll
been
find
done
a way
since
to
June?
make my email traffic legal for you. It'll be available to you tomorrow. However, I will reach out to Brian at Reboot and I will make the time tomorrow to see if I can get that set up.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my hired hand, he broke up with his girlfriend, so he's back to living there, in case you're
Let me
wondering.
tell you, he's a great kid.
He's a wonderful kid who feels terrible about what you did to him.
I didn't say anything.
There is an honor part in the Boy Scout manual. Any more questions?
I think it was last year, the town voted, was it 420,000 for paving?
I don't remember the exact numbers, but they're documented for sure. I don't want to misspeak.
So someone's saying 825,000?
825 was the full amount of the bond bank, which was to include the grinding of the Fowler Road, prep the roads that got hot top, and going back and doing the shoulders of the road. That was the full tilt of the 820. So I actually believe it was over 500 for a hot top.
So my second question is, has 500,000 been expended out of the 825?
Yes, it has.
How
The
much?
balance is $92,000, I believe, roughly. That's what's left. 26,000 will do the resurfacing of that road. Excuse me, the grinding, you're right, I apologize. And then there will be a balance, but we haven't gone over the 5 miles and put the shoulders down with gravel yet, so that has to be secured.
What is the balance remaining out of the 825,000?
90,000.
90,000? How many miles are unpaved on the Langley Road?
2.
Mile and a half.
Well, I think it's a 3-mile road, and we've got a mile done. Then my math, that would be 2.
2 miles exactly.
Yes. This was never a competition. This was a way to disperse improvement across the town. That's what was discussed and voted on. So I understand people's frustration. We will have to reconvene, and there'll have to be a new budget and a new mill rate to continue to go on aggressively to resurface these roads. That was never a no-brainer. Nothing was going to be free, but we wanted to make progress, and we've done that.
My comment is, I think you've already said this, but paving, I believe Tom said, paving is 120,000
That's the
miles.
last number I was told. So it's
That's-
expensive.
It's about 120 a mile for an inch and a half.
Just paving. That has nothing to do with building the road securely enough to extend the life of your $120,000 investment. And that's where some of that other money has gone. And it's a huge undertaking. It's a huge responsibility and a huge expense.
My point is, you have a mile and a half left on the Langley Road. You're gonna do, I guess, next week, 2 miles on the Fowler Road, the entire road. Okay, is 3.5 miles.
We have $175,000 grader that's capable of keeping these roads smooth enough to be passable. Fowler Road is probably, and has always been, worse than the Langley Road.
We've got a drag box that we can go in down.
Yes, we do, but that needs some work.
We want my burn.
Actually, who's asking the question?
Okay, so my point is, I'll sit down, not a question. The paving, I guess I'll ask the road commissioner if you don't mind. What thickness of paving are we gonna put on these roads? 2 inches. So it's more than 120,000 a mile. It's maybe approaching a third more than 160,000 a mile, I think.
Is the 120,000 per mile, is that a 2-inch?
That's what it was for the Margison Road.
So that was a 2-inch.
That was one pole, 2 inch, yes.
Was that your shim coat and everything?
What's that? They didn't shim the Margison
You
Road.
didn't shim it?
No, that was one pole, 2 inches.
That's what they shim coat
Okay, my point is, back to this gentleman over here, it's the same point, is we're tearing up a lot, and I don't know, we don't have approval to pave. And that's the only point I'm making, is,
Well, I guess here's a question for you. You live on the Fowler Road.
I do.
Do you like the way it is today?
I've been back home, I lived on the Fowler Road most of my life, I've been back home for 39 years. It's not just you people sitting up there, it's been chip sealed one time.
And I agree with you.
You know how long a chip seal lasts? 7 years.
There you go. That's why you were included in this loan, because that road deserved some improvement. That what we can afford to do and what we'd like to do are two different things. So the fact is, we can make that road more comfortable when you're passing on it. There will be dust, there will be a need for calcium, there will be days we can't get to it, there will be all kinds of sacrifices that will be made individually. And that is the truth. That was never any different.
Okay. So I
Yep.
grew up on a quarter mile down the road from where I am now. We're downwind, we're on the east side.
Yep.
I live now on the east side. It's downwind. When I was young, we used to eat dust all summer long.
Yeah.
Since I know a little bit about public works, I can tell you, one call to DEP and you will put down calcium for dust control. That's it. Plan on it, okay?
Not a problem.
Well, I think there should be some discussion about where we're going before we even vote to pave. We're tearing up the road and making it gravel, basically.
But I do recall the discussion when we took the vote. That's obviously saying in defense of this end that changes annually. Any more questions?
Yes.
Please stand and state your name. There you go.
Diane Stubbs, 336 Ling Road. How much did it cost to put the driveway across from my driveway to go into Shevet's Fields? And the culvert and everything, was that all planned when you decided to tear up the road?
That actually was put in, the highway crew put that in so they could access the field and trench it for the winter. That's why I
No,
allowed them.
no, I don't take that as a,
Well, I guess the
I guess I don't take that as the answer. I don't think the road commissioner and them had any reason.
Well, all right.
Well, he wasn't road commissioner at the time, Chris was.
I believe he suggested it to the road commissioner, is what I remember. However, I
Yeah,
don't.
but how often do you guys go in there? Yeah, that's another.
Ask that. No, not yes, ask that.
Okay, then. Why do you let McCrum use it to dump all their waste now that our wells are no good? And that's in a trust, and it wasn't supposed to be used
Not
that way.
Not right yet.
All right,
Talk about the
All
driveway.
right, I think you guys are on the agenda for your own item. Is that
very much
correct?
so.
Pardon
But
me?
the driveway isn't.
Oh, I see. Fine. I just wanted to know how much it cost to do the driveway.
And why no crumbs is
Who paid for it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Miller,
Just to help Mr. Fowler out a little bit, it's not the perfect fix, but if they grind it and roll it, and get it set up, and leave it there until spring at least, you're gonna find a terrifically different road. I mean, you go from less than 5 miles an hour, then you're gonna be complaining because they're going 55 miles an hour. It makes that big of a difference. And it's a way to kind of stretch and save the budget until we can afford. I mean, 120, 200,000 a mile, it is what it is. And nobody likes it. I didn't like my taxes going up, but I understand why.
So are we using our big roller to roll it?
actually we are.
Good.
All right, we're gonna make sure this doesn't get out of control, because I'm starting to feel like it's someone's living room now, and I don't like that feeling. So one at a time, if there's any more questions, we'll try to extend the life of this, or we'll shut it down. Who's next? Could you please state your name?
So if we're using the big roller to roll out the road afterwards, my question would be, why are we gonna sell it?
To save money,
But you're not saving money because you still have to roll those roads out.
right? But if I rent a dirt roller, I'm saving money by using that one. So I don't have to rent a dirt roller. We have it here, we might as well use it right now to do dirt, but we cannot use it on chip sealed roads to patch holes. It's too heavy.
Any more questions? Ethan?
Wasn't the $825,000 something that was supposed to be appropriated over a 10-year period of time for the town?
It was going to be paid back in 10 years.
Repaid in 10 years, okay.
There's an annual
So,
payment.
and we've spent all of that $825,000 except for $92,000 at this time.
That is correct.
What are we looking at for a chance of being able to get another one of these bonds in the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, a person would have to be pretty cautious, because that loan is a commitment. So you'd have to kind of sit down and really look at where you can afford to be.
Okay,
Not
so-
just you, for example, but there's a lot of people on a fixed income. They'd all have to be.
In the sense of recognizing that we've spent a large amount of money in a short window and have only gotten half of the projects done in each project that we've done, because it's been explained that the shoulders still haven't been finished yet, and the gravel will be put down on those. It seems as though for the gentleman on the Fowler Road, as well as myself on the Langley Road, and other roads within the town that are going to need attention within the next 3 to 5 years, we're left, I'm gonna say this term lightly, we're left in the dust in the sense of not being able to come up with a plan as to how the funds are gonna be appropriated to be able to finalize those jobs that are there. So I just wanna make sure that the citizens of the community recognize that that large amount of money has been expended, and we're looking at some time here before we can gather any more money for us to move forward with the town.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Did you attend the meeting to approve the bond loan?
Yes, I did.
Did you raise your hand in favor?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. What is very important about public service is the evolving life of the commitment to do so. Okay? So